I'm live now. And what's interesting, you're going to hear me yell at the dogs. It's just going to happen. So, let me see. Your channel, boom, boom, boom. I am live. I got to turn down the volume. There we go. So I can see myself. Good morning. Oh boy. Boy, stocks look bad. Let me pull up my notes. Podcast. And I've got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to make sure that's what's last. Here I've got to, let me see. Oh, I think I've got to click on it for it to, I understand wish to, what? Share. Okay. We're going to do this. Hold on, I've got to text some folks back. And let's see. Your channel. Let's see. I'm going to go here. Share. Copy. Boom. Boom. And like and subscribe. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to pull this up again because I want to start out the podcast with this. Let's see.
What does Matt Damon say on that Bitcoin commercial? Fortune favors the brave. My dad said he listened to Matt Damon and lost all his money. Yes, everyone did, but they were brave in doing so. I can just keep him home on pajama day? No, you can't stay home because you have to go to work because fucking Matt Damon told you fortune favors the brave and now you lost all your fucking money. Matt Damon told me fortune favors the brave and I lost all my fucking money. We can do this. We just have to be brave, but not too brave or else Matt Damon will come and take your money.
By the way, if you're in FTX, get your money out. Get your money out. Just get your money out. Let's see. I don't think I had anybody that was looking for me to look into something on Twitter. That's what I want to look at. I did have some folks on Instagram. Let's see. Notifications. That's what I want. Rick Barron is in the New Yorker magazine. I did my podcast with him yesterday, if you want to listen to that one. CHK, Tom sent me about Rambus. Tom sent me about Zim. We'll take a look at that stuff. We're going to delete this. Nah, you're going to hear me yell at the dogs now. Hey, you two are going to need to stop this. This is getting ridiculous. There is nobody out there. Let's go and do some scans. Actually, I want to look at the earnings whispers for after the close. And we're going to hear from, I'm going to close this down. We're going to turn on focus mode, do not disturb. And then Morning, Jesse. Voila! Rivian. Beyond. Dutch Bros Coffee. This one could be big. Bumble. It's going to flop. They ain't making money. Wish is a favorite. Win could be interesting, although. Oh, look, Vet. We like Vet. Because we've looked at that one before. I think Tom brought that one up. Energy, App Lovin', Ring Central. Let's look at Avaya. I think Avaya is the stock that my buddy works for. Remember I think I talked about this one a while ago. I think when it was down here near 60 cents, I think in August we talked about this one. And it's at $1.53 right now. They had announced something, blah, blah, blah. They got earnings coming out. I'm going to put this one in. I got to alert Scott that I'm talking about this one. AVYA for Scott. This is one that he bought, I think, at around 60 cents. He didn't buy anything life-changing, but it's been moving. Now what would worry me is this gap here between 84 and 90. You can see the gap. The gaps have been filled. Did it get filled? Yeah, this one got filled. So the gaps have been filled on the way up. See those two right there? They've been filled on the way up. This one has not been filled. So you can see you had a gap up here that day. Morning, Zephin. That would worry me a little bit, but I'll go over that one for Scott. And I'll tell him, hey, I went over the stock. I like the stock. I think that's what the Wall Street Bets crowd says. I like the stock. Great documentary on Netflix, by the way. Let's do some scans. Okay, we're going to do some scans for stocks. Boom. This is all energy. I don't see anything that I particularly like in energy. We'll go back up to... Let's look at what I own. Oh, looky. Oh, I got to put in GOOGL. Let me do the strategy tester. Let's look at the algorithm. Look at this. 88, 89. We're going to look at scans. We don't like GOOGL. We like GOOG because that's what Google buys back. And it has, we'll just say, and GOG. They trade in tandem. Morning, James. What up? Back to the 80s. I think was yesterday the day I sang Welcome Back, Kotter? It was interesting. Oh, God. Ethereum. If you are in FTX, I think I'm going to start out the podcast with this clip right here. And I don't think that I can play it with super loud, but this is good. If you guys want to watch this one here. Where's my chat doc? Chat. There we go. And we'll post that one. That's a good one. And now, because I don't use this YouTube channel much to watch videos, by the way, Boebert lost her election last night. Thank freaking God. I think she lost it. I'm pretty sure she lost it. But let me see what's coming up tomorrow after the market close. Because we don't have anything after the market. Oh, wait, that's 11th. After the market close. Matterport. That's an interesting one. That's a company that they do like 3D rendering for like real estate. That could be interesting. Aurora Cannabis. That could move. Toast. They are a company that does restaurant software. Her to start investing. Apple, Target, Spotify. I love Spotify, but don't like the stock. I also like SCHD and Google. Yeah. Okay, I'll look at Target for you. Target for Zephin. And good kudos on you, Zephin. Get those young folks into investing. That's why I do this. And I'm going to talk about it. I got a nice message yesterday from somebody. So yeah, okay, let's get back to the scans. So brokerage holdings, and then we're going to go not owned. I've got to look into that one. Yeah, wait on Apple. I'll look at Apple. That's what I wanted to do, and thanks for reminding me, Zephin. I want to look at FANG. FANG stocks. may not lead. Check out targets. And I'll go over each one as to why I like and why I don't like, blah, blah, blah. In FANG, by the way, I would include Microsoft. Including Microsoft. In FANG, just because. Ooh, Deere is a nice one. This chart, that could be a second leg for Deere. See, it's covered this gap right there. The RSI is a little bit high, but you've got this gap up here between 420 and 430. Okay, we're gonna do Deere. I'm gonna put that in just because of that gap up there. PayPal, have we finally hit a bottom? You got a gap up here between 90 and 93. And you do have a MACD cross up. I'll put it in. I don't know. I do own PayPal. Why do I have it in this one? Jeppy. Google. I have Google. AbbVie. Oh, I removed those. AbbVie. This is a clean energy ETF. Yeah, the reason I would add Microsoft, Zephin, is, and I'll go over it, but Microsoft just, I mean, if you're not going to have a MacBook, you're going to have Microsoft. If you're not going to have a PlayStation, you're going to have an Xbox. If you're not going to use Google or AWS, you're going to use Azure. So... they just got their Amazon. I'll go over it. It's probably my least favorite of short term, and the reason I say it's my least favorite of short term, the business of Amazon. Oh, and look at Meta up another 4%. All because billionaire Mark Zuckerberg says, "I feel so sorry for the people I'm letting go." I hate people like that. I hate people. I take responsibility for letting people go. Horrible. Well, if you take responsibility, give them $1 million each, because you're letting 3,000 people. I think it's 2,000 or 3,000. He's worth what? 10, 15 billion, 20 billion, somewhere in that neighborhood. Give them each $1 million. If they're not already millionaires from your company. If they are millionaires from your company because of stock or things that they've gotten, don't worry about them. But Meta, man, here. Let's go to Active Trader Pro. Where's my Active Trader Pro? I gotta get this. I'm not all set up yet. Boom, boom, boom. I may be on here, actually. Meta. Do. Look at Meta. Listen, Meta's, like I said, buy it under 100. That's one. Back to the scans. We've got, I gotta go back to Safari View. These are all the ARCs. Deere's the only one. Xerox, no freaking way I'm leading you into Xerox. Let's look at the Dow 30. And I'm gonna look at energy stocks because I want to see which ones to get out of. That's going to be key. I got a lot of freaking things to go over. Holy crap. For not having to do, we'll look at these. Okay. Hopefully nobody got into Disney, but I would add Disney. I mean, you know, and I had my coffee, so before I start the podcast, Gary's going to have to take a bathroom break. Favor the brave. Favor the brave. Intel. Do you buy Intel? Do we finally buy Intel? This would be a trade. This would not be an investment. Because look, do you finally assume that 32 is in, the 200 days in the mark, where they don't have a catalyst coming up? This just goes along. You know what? I'm going to look at Qualcomm. INTC. Put this INTC, but like QCOM. Okay. Dow 30. Let's look at Dow 30, NASDAQ 100. Where are you? There you are. Bum, 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 bum. I got 8 people watching me. Hello, New York. Look at how steep that RSI moved up with just a little move in the MACD and not a significant movement in the stock. Nah, you got better places to trade than this one. We're going to go down to the S&P 100. And I already looked at the energy index, so I'm not getting into smoking. This is an interesting one. Jim Cramer recommended it as one of his stocks to hold. This one's coming down. Short it. Inverse Cramer always wins. Problem is you're down in pre-market. The futures are down. Let's see. Okay. What am I going to start out with? That's enough scans. I got enough to go over today. Okay. Hit the like button, by the way. And I got 6 bots. Let's see. We'll go over. I'll go over at the whole FANG thing with Zephyr. That'll include Amazon. It'll include Apple. It's going to take me a while to get through that, but we're in for a long podcast today. So let me get to. Okay. Good morning. It's Wednesday, November 9th. And I was going to start out the podcast with this little gem of a clip. It is South Park with Matt Damon said Fortune favors the brave, and everyone lost their effing mind. That's the title on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, then you can see it. I linked to it. I put it in the chat. You can see it. But I want to start out FTX. I posted on LinkedIn, and I'll link it, a link on my Twitter. But Sean Purry, who's the host of My First Millions podcast, did just a masterclass on what happened to FTX and what is actually going on with FTX. Simply because I didn't understand it. I read this. Now I completely understand it. Sam Bankman-Fried screwed everybody. He's lost 94% of his net worth in 24 hours. He is down billions of dollars. He pretty much lied on his Twitter. A competitor wound up coming in and taking him out. Just absolutely savage what they did. So I will link to it. Sean Purry, you're a genius. Love it. If you're not following him on LinkedIn, you absolutely should. I think he does more on LinkedIn these days than he actually does on Twitter. So, but it was interesting. The other thing that I wanted to start podcast out with is a thank you. And usually I get thanks emails every day for teaching you guys some stuff. But this particular email kind of hit home. The thank you emails, guys, you are great. I mean, I'm happy to do this. Remember, I don't get paid to do this. I'm making pennies compared to, I think, I'll clear somewhere in the neighborhood of hundreds of dollars this year on this podcast because I don't monetize it. Spotify pays me every now and then. But the majority of what I'll make it's on tips from you guys. It's on the support that you guys do. But what fills me with more gratitude is the thanks. When you guys tell me that you've learned stuff, it's great thanks. But somebody specifically, and I won't mention their name, sent me a screenshot of their actual account and how they're doing so much better since they started listening to this. And they kind of did, and it's what I do all the time, is I kind of look back on how I traded 5 years ago, 2 years ago, versus how much more I know now. And the great teachers that I've had. And I've learned, again, I have to put together that damn video of what I learned. And I'll charge you guys $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever it is. But it's not going to be super in-depth. It's going to lead you to several different YouTube channels and some of the blogs that I read and some of the websites that I use. But it'll be a comprehensive way for you to learn a little bit more. And then you've got to just practice. That's essentially it. But this particular person said, hey, I look back on the 6 months that I've been listening to your podcast and how much I've learned and how much I'm trading differently. Even D-Man sent me a message on YouTube, commented on the YouTube channel last night that he's killed it with VVV. I'll take a look at that one. But he realizes how important it is to actually not fall in love with the position and get out. So that's what I like. Again, the supporters, thank you guys for tipping me. Thank you for supporting me. The links are in the description. Again, I don't make money other than you guys, and I won't charge you anything. If I can make advertising money, I'll do it. It's just I'm not willing to put in the effort to get a sales guy and do all that stuff yet. So if you hear an ad, listen to it. Click on whatever link. There's a link for Visible phone service. Switch your phone service, dude. You've got to do it. I pay $25 a month. I think Visible is $30 a month for their bottom tier plan. You get $20, I get $20. It's great. I love the service. One that I'm going to look at to start with is Tesla. Remember how I told you guys on the daily there's a gap? You have no confirmation right now. Even though you're under a 200, and I would say buy it under 200, you're trading at 191. I do think that we go back and we visit this gap, honestly, and it's between 138 and 140, I think. Let's just go back here and look. Yeah, here's the gap that I'm talking about, 137 to 144. My belief is that we go back and we touch that. And I don't say that meaning that I hope that it goes back to those positions. I hope that it stays and finds some support somewhere else. I just don't see support somewhere else. Their earnings are coming up in January. There's no real catalyst here. Nothing. The RSI is at 28. If you wanted to buy it now, if you want to put $1,000 in, I'd say buy $200 worth of it. Dollar cost average your way in. I do think when we get into a healthier market, this gap right here at 257 to 262, that one gets filled. And it's going to start using that 200-day as a resistance level. If that 200-day comes down below this 250, then we probably won't fill that gap anytime soon. That's just my take on it. But we do know why it has been going down so hard. Elon sold $3.95 billion worth of shares over the past week, 2 weeks. He said he was done selling his shares to fund the Twitter purchase, but he wound up selling $4 billion more. He has sold so much Tesla stock, and every time he sold stock, it's come back. So that's just my take, but you can do what you want. Earnings yesterday, Disney just missed. Horrible guidance. Bad thing. Just FYI, October 3rd, Kramer said he was bullish on Disney. Now, where were we on October 3rd? October 3rd, we were trading at 96. we're 99. Probably not a horrible call. October 3rd, here you had a MACD cross up a few days later. You were about 95. I think we go back down there. I do think that we're going to hit 93 today. So, do what you want. I believe that Disney is a good long-term value. I do think that you trade between 90 and 100. Anything under 100 you can buy. Here's the thing. If you trade Disney, what's great about Disney is if you get 5, 6, 7% in Disney and you sell it, you can always buy it back. You can just trade in and out of this one. The great thing about Disney is, other than when it's trading here, what we'll take a look at is historically. Let's look at a weekly of Disney. Now, this is a weekly. Here's where it was the pandemic on 2020. When you look at pre-pandemic, it was at 112. That probably is a legitimate price for Disney. So if you're trading between 90 and 100, you don't mind holding this for the long term. If there's any inkling that they're going to get rid of ABC, there was a great guy on this morning. Who watches ABC? Who turns on ABC on their TV and watches primetime? Nobody, unless there's a college football game or some special news event. You don't watch ABC. So ABC is just a drag. I mean, all these networks outside of sports and news, they're just drags. There's no primetime TV. Hulu has, Dopesick. Great Hulu feature. Never played on ABC, even though Disney owns Hulu. Why wouldn't it play on ABC? They're just not doing things well. So Disney, I think you can trade it. If you bought it at 99, hold on to it. If you bought it at 102, just hold on to it. Don't sell it for a loss. Hold it for that long-term capital gains. Either a long-term capital gains sell where you can sell at a loss if you do, but you're not going down 40% on Disney. And again, this is where Jim Cramer was saying at 170, 180. Yeah, he bought more Disney up here for his charitable club. Yeah, and you're paying $600 for that service. Douche. What a douche. So yeah, we're going to look at that one. Let's look at yesterday's earnings that I went over. So Disney was one. AMC, we're going to look at AMC. I think they're down in pre-market. Let's switch over to Active Trader Pro so I can look at just a 2-day of these. AMC, we're going to go to a 2-day. It's flat. Kind of soared up here after earnings were announced. You can see great trade during earnings. Kind of flat. Closed yesterday at 562. It's at 542. Upstart reported disappointing earnings. Again, these companies, remember, I said they're not making money. So that was the danger. You went from 19 and you're trading at 15. Horrible earnings. Occidental Petroleum, they announced earnings. They're down slightly. This is an oil company. You can see they're down. They closed at 74. They're down at 72. They're on the downside. They have no confirmation whatsoever, so I wouldn't buy into this one. If we go back to the algorithm view and I look at Oxy here, let's see. Oxy, they're down 2.93%. You still have confirmation. Honest to God, it's high. It's starting to button hook, but you still have confirmation. I'm not getting out. Their next catalyst is December 9th, the dividend. But it's not a huge dividend. Let's see if we type in Oxy into FinViz. Their dividend is 0.69%. Not huge, but Warren Buffett's not getting out. I'm not getting out. Let's see the insider sales. The last insider buy was September 28th by Berkshire, $105 million. The day before, he bought $157 million. And the day before that, he bought $89 million worth of stock in Oxy. And so that was September 28th, 27th, 26th. Let's go back to September 26th. September 26th, which, he's at 60. That's where I said, hey, under 60, buy it. Over 60, You can sell it anytime you want over 60. This gap right here will be filled between 62 and 61. At some point in time, this one comes down to that level. I don't know when it is, but with December 5th coming up, December 5th is the European sanctions on Russian oil. I can't imagine that the price of oil just doesn't soar after that. So let's go back to Active Trader Pro, and we will look at Mara. So, like I said, fortune favors the brave. If you're Tom Brady and Giselle going through their divorce and having to liquidate some of their investments, maybe in FTX, fortune favors the brave. Talk to your buddy Matt Damon. They're going to lose a bunch. Crypto's just getting killed. It's another day where it's just going to get killed. What's funny about Mara is you saw this run up to $10.60 early in the morning, and that's the crypto crash right there. But what happened in the afternoon was it started to come back. Then you get your earnings, and boom, it kind of goes up again, but it lost it again because of just crypto. This is a miner. They don't typically hold their crypto. What they do is they mine their crypto, and then they mine it when it's low, and they sell it when it's high. Oh, yeah, Disney is down 8% to 91. And James, hold it. Buy it when it's lower. I mean, here's the thing. Say you bought it at Disney at 100 yesterday. Just hoping, hopefully you got it under 100 because that was kind of the pivot point that I said. Say you bought it at 100 and you didn't, go balls deep. You went maybe 50%. So you have $1,000 that you want to invest. You bought it 50% at 100. Then you buy 50% at 90. All of a sudden you're at 95. You only need to get to 95. 95 from 91 right now, you'll hit 90 today. I think you'll hit 90 at some point in time during the market today, and you buy another 50%. 95's way more realistic. Yeah, James, high five. There you go. Good job. Only about 20%. See, my teachings are working. But Mara, back to Mara, you're good. I mean, again, if you're going to invest in crypto, invest in something that doesn't necessarily hold directly crypto. You can trade GBTC, you can trade ETHE, you can trade any one of those Greystone, crypto funds. Don't own them, just trade them. Crypto. If you want to own crypto, have 1 to 5% of your net worth in crypto. It can be game changing. I would say Ethereum and Bitcoin. Those are the only two that I probably trust. I don't know crypto space. Full disclosure, don't know crypto space. Affirm is one that AFRM is, if I can type. They announced earnings and they got tanked too. Most everything yesterday got tanked. So I'm still an Active Trader Pro looking at it. You can see it pre-market, just tanked. Let's go into BOIL. This is my favorite trade. BOIL is interesting because it got tanked yesterday. And like I said yesterday, even during the day, hopefully you got out at that 50, at that 43, where it opened up. Just never had confirmation. Completely went down. Had some confirmation in the afternoon at about 2 p.m. But if you trade this regularly, the afternoon volume just isn't there to support a rally. It went from about, looks like 39 up to about 41. I wouldn't have said, hey, trade it. You're at 35 today. Now, if we go back to Active Trader TrendSpider and we look at BOIL in here, BOIL is back to, it's going to gap down. So you're going to basically at this 38 level where the candle was, 39 level where the candle was, you're going to gap down here to about 35, and it's going to create that gap. Now, somebody asked me, should I buy it because it's way down? Well, you got to wait for your confirmation. Look at this, though. Look at the volume. Volume's trending up. When volume's trending up, typically price will go up. You see kind of here, the volume is kind of staying the same. It dips down, but then it starts to slowly just kind of level off. Let's get a better example of this when volume actually starts to go up. Here you go. Look at the spike. When it spiked up, you had those gaps up there, and then in February all the way up here. Now here's what I want to show you. Should I buy it based on long term? Because I think this one's really going to go up. We're going to go to a weekly chart because I want to show you where it's actually trading. This is a decaying asset, so it doesn't get better. You just have ups and downs on this one. If you're buying and hoping that this one just, continues to go up higher, you're out of your freaking mind. This one ain't going higher. This down here is a 23. This is going to reverse split at some point in time. And it's just like UCL. Let's look at KOLD, and we'll look at the weekly on KOLD. Because KOLD is going to wind up today. But KOLD trades inversely. Look at the long term on this one. It's dropped down. So where do you think this one's going to go back to? KOLD is going to continue to go back up here. If you want to buy something long term, KOLD. I mean, again, this one is a decaying asset as well. It's just gotten killed because natural gas has gone up. Speaking of natural gas, they had their earnings, and let's look at LNG, Cheniere Energy. This is the one that basically takes liquid natural gas out of the ports in Louisiana and ships them over to Europe. Now you got a shit ton of ships hanging off of the European coast because Europe can't accept it because their reserves are already full. You've had a warm winter. Worst possible scenario for the price of natural gas has happened. You've got reserves, which should get depleted. You've got the potential of Russia peace in Ukraine. It's kind of rolling the dice. So you've got this one at 173. I don't think I would put more money into this one. If you're in this, I might get out. If you've got a significant profit, I might get out of this. I think 150, see how right here, 150, this is kind of a support line right there. You can clearly see it. And if it goes back down to that 150, you buy it again because it'll go back up to that 170 as long as we have natural gas issues. Year to date, it's up 70%. You're only 4% off your 52-week high. There's no reason to buy into this one. But there is a reason to sell it because you're so far up there towards your 52-week high. The average target price is 204. I just, again, I don't see a reason to buy this one. Another podcast favorite that I wanted to go over that I haven't looked at in a long time is Costco. You're at 492. I said anything under 500, you should buy it. This one had a nice run up here from 471. It got you out with a 1% gain. I probably would have gotten you out here above 500, so you would have gotten at least, 8%, 6-7%, somewhere around there. So it see that button hook? Yeah. And then it lost its confirmation. So you could have gotten out probably over 500 and been completely happy. At some point in time, and I don't know if it's going to be this particular run, but you can see the MACD is about to cross up again. The RSI is a little bit high, but there's a gap up here between 530 and 539. At some point, that gets filled. Don't know when it is, but I'll keep an eye on it. United Healthcare. Healthcare is going to continue to grow. The elections last night wasn't overwhelmingly red like everybody thought. The most likely scenario is that the Republicans take control of the House, which means they're going to freaking be dumb and start all of their Marjorie Taylor Greene investigations. It was clear that DeSantis is the stronger Republican Party than Trump right now. So it'll be interesting when 2024 comes up because Trump just didn't sell. DeSantis did. Clear. Rubio won his, unfortunately, his primary. Not a fan of him. Kennedy, I believe, won his primary in Louisiana. I really like that Gary Clarkson, I think his name was. Really liked him. I wish he would have beaten Kennedy. But you can clearly see United Health. United Health's going to continue to kill it. Healthcare is continuing to raise. Its costs are going up. United Healthcare, it's the granddaddy of all the insurance companies. You have confirmation. I've said anything below 500 you buy. Clearly here, it dipped down below 500. Should have bought at 516. You know what another one was that I've been right about from a long-term perspective? Goldman Sachs. Look at this one. Remember when I said a few weeks ago, month ago, buy it when it dips under 200, under 300, I'm sorry. It's at 364 right now. Great stock, great management team. It is too high to buy right now. The RSI is at 83. No way I would buy this one. Even though their catalyst is coming up on November 30th with their dividend, it's not big enough to buy. Wait till it comes back down. Cleveland Cliffs, we had the cross up yesterday, and I want to show this one. Cleveland Cliffs, we had it at 1365. We're at 1391 today. You do have confirmation on this one. You can probably get it at 1365 today. I think at some point it's going to be at 1365. Let's see. I'm looking at it in Active Trader Pro. It is at 1361. You can buy it even down today. It's got no confirmation whatsoever right now. I'd wait until a little bit later today to see that you can get it, the right price. But I think you're going to continue this run from a long-term perspective. So I think 1361, the only thing that worries me is this $12 to $12.50 gap that's created here. But as long as you stay above that confirmation, you should be good. Just make sure your stop loss is tight on that one. SOXL I talked about. It'll be interesting because I do have a scan that hit later that I'll talk about in the chip world. $9.27 was the buy-in. That was after a 20% gain. I'd still be in from this $7 purchase that we had. You're at 10.17. You might come down a little bit today, but you've still got confirmation above that 9-day. So I don't necessarily think that you get out of this one. Just this stock market is just deadly sometimes. ATVI, Activision Blizzard. They had their earnings. No mention of Microsoft takeover issues, blah, blah, blah. This is one Warren Buffett bet at this price. It was about, I think it may have even been 75 or 77. But it was definitely in the 70s. He bought millions of dollars of Activision Blizzard. He's not an insider. I can't see an insider buy for him. But he bought a ton. The Microsoft deal is set to go through at $95. I don't know that it's necessarily worth it because there's a lot of regulation that's been brought up around this purchase, specifically the game Call of Duty. I know sharing with the Sony platforms. Microsoft has said, don't worry, we're going to share with all the platforms. Here's what you have to know about Activision Blizzard, and you can clearly see it on the left-hand side here. There's a gap all the way down to 65. I think that's where we're going right now. I think you're going back to this $65, and the reason I think that is Wall Street seems to think that this deal won't go through, which does mean that Activision Blizzard gets a sudden injection of cash because there's a breakup fee. So if the deal doesn't go through, Microsoft has to pay the breakup fee. But you've clearly gotten this gap here starting to be filled. If this gets filled all the way down and you don't have confirmation right now, it's at 65. I think if you dip below 70, you might be, and you're willing to basically gamble, roll the dice. I think you can gamble below 70. And I think if you get closer to the earnings and you get some confirmation above that 9-day, I think it might be a good thing. Roblox. I talked about this one being the actual metaverse company. Well, they announced earnings and they kind of lost their shirt. So it doesn't have confirmation right now. You got in October 13th at $35. You got out with a 12% gain here on November 4th. You clearly could have sold it closer to $50, which would have been a nice 20% gain instead of 12%. So I do think that the algorithm works on this one, just so you're aware. The algorithm loses you 57% versus losing 38% with buying and holding. Your average win on this is 1834. You would not buy it right now. It is clearly in free fall right now. But I think when it gets down to that $30 range, I think that's a pretty good support range for it to fall. In fact, let me look at what it's trading at right now, because I think it was at close to that $30 range. It's at 35, so you've clearly got a downward trending stock here on the downward trend, and it's kind of going to open up right about here. And see that gap? It's going to fill this gap down to about 36.19, my guess. Might open at 35.14 because we're 1 minute until open. But that's where you're going to see the candle open up right there. So I do think that there's an opportunity there. The trading desk, and I'm going over all of these that don't make money. They announced, but they were up. So the trading desk, let's see. They are opening up at 46, almost 10% up. So they announced earnings this morning. It should go well. I mean, you should see a gap up here from 43 to 46 on the open, which means you're going to fill the gap on the way down. It's got no confirmation. I don't think it's anything that you buy into. I think it's, it's okay. I brought up Avaya stock, AVYA, from my buddy Scott, who works there. And I was looking at this on YouTube Live just before. You've got a gap here between 82 and 92. So I don't know that I'd necessarily buy into this one. But it's interesting because Scott had messaged me, hey, there's some problems, but we should be pretty good. He didn't have any insider information or anything, but he was buying here at 60. Well, you're $1.53 today. Pretty good move. You had a 40% uptick in this one. You bought in, got right out with a 7% loss. You're in this at 127. And it's not moving. But the catalyst are their earnings, November 18th. Company seems to be okay. I don't know. But earnings today, Rivian reports after the bell. RIVN is one. Let's look at the chart on this one. Here's the thing. Rivian still is not making money. If yesterday's earnings are any indication, the companies that aren't making money just aren't popping. They are going down. And you've got this gap down here between 26 and 27. If you wanted to gamble on this one, and this is just a bet, but I may buy a put. Buy a couple of puts. See if you can get down here after earnings. Buy a couple of puts. That MACD is clearly down. The RSI is down at 38, so it might be a little bit of a risk. But I can't imagine that they come out. Lucid yesterday announced to hold their holdings, and you can clearly see they've lost mojo. Let's see where Lucid is. LC. Is it RX? LCDX. I'm on Active Trader Pro. And my Active Trader Pro just froze. And my Active Trader Pro just froze. So let me restart this one. Force quit. Active Trader Pro. I'm going to restart this one and we'll get back to that one. But Rivian is one that you could absolutely play just because it's not making money. Lucid announced that they guided. I'll look at that one as it's as Active Trader Pro starts up. But Lucid announced. Take a look at their earnings. Let's see. Let's go into LCID is the symbol, and you can see they announced plunges as reservations for cards drop. Now, Rivian's not in that same realm. Rivian has plenty of reservations. I have several friends with the car. I know Rivian is a quality company. They are backed by Amazon. Lucid isn't as liquid as Rivian is. Rivian's pretty liquid. So I would expect Rivian to bounce down just like, here's what. See, they're not making money. Their price to sales is 130. So let's look at Rivian's price to sales. This is going to be crazy. Rivian price to sales. Remember, Lucid is 130. We're going to do this one. 59. So they've got some room to grow here at 31. Let's look at Rivian is RIVN. And Rivian right now is trading at $30. They've got no confirmation. They're trending down. I think the entire market's trending down. Yeah. NASDAQ is down 1%. So let's look at one that I wanted to. VET is one that I wanted to look at. Vermilion Energy. They report today after the bell. It's down below that 9-day. You're starting to see that button hook right there. The RSI is trending down at 53. You've got this gap here. See, there's one gap here. There's another gap here. There's another gap here. You've got gaps all the way down to 20. My expectation for Vermilion is that on earnings, just because Oxy wasn't that strong, Devon wasn't that strong, and you had these run-ups into earnings, is that we see it go down to 20, and that's a buying opportunity. Because, let's see, VET, right here, you've got a PE of 4.94. This is in the oil and gas, energy, oil and gas, September 16th. Downgraded sector perform. There's no real price target. There's a Zacks. Zacks sucks. PR Newswire. Vermilion Energy announces timing of third quarter release. There's no real news on this. Top 7. There's a good one here from Investors Daily. Top 7 energy stocks to buy right now, October 24th. If we go back to October 24th, you can clearly see that we had a close to a MACD cross up. We had it on October 20th. So when that article came out, you were at 22. You almost made your 10% there. Pretty good. But they're coming out. One that Zephan wanted me to go over is Target. Actually, you know what? Let me go over Target. And then I'll go over BBW for Sam on Instagram. Here's Target. Gaps all over the place. You've got a gap down here. Clearly, you have a downward trender. And you got out with 4%. You've got their catalyst is November 15th next week. They've got earnings coming up. Can they announce that they've gotten their inventory stuff under control? That's going to be the key. If they announce that, we see an uptick. Target, by the way, announced that they have a price match for the holiday season. So if you come in there and you say, hey, I found this on Amazon for this price, they'll match it. So Target's doing some pretty aggressive things for the holidays. You've clearly got this gap up here all the way to 212. I would expect with this downward trend that this gap between 151 and 153 is probably more in the making before the earnings. I would probably look to get this between 150 and 155. And that's if you're investing long term. I hold this one at 111. When you look at the long term on this one, you can clearly see we're in a downward trend. This isn't something. But here's the thing. Look at Target. We will look at Target. Target's PE is 18. Remember, the S&P wants it at 17. So it is a little bit high. It's got a 2.67% dividend, so you get paid while you're holding it. It's not like you need the stock to go up the entire time when you're holding it. Walmart, which is the granddaddy of them all, its PE is 28. So, and look, it's been going up. So, and they only have a 1.57% dividend. By the way, Walmart year to date is only down 1%. This is clearly a much better stock in a recession. But you've got this, this was earlier this year where you kind of gapped down. I hold both stocks. I hold more Target than I do Walmart. Obviously, I picked wrong. But I do think the Target comes back to its heyday. I just think that their inventory stuff, they're just doing it wrong. When I, personally, I will tell you, when I go into shop for groceries and things at Target, it's trouble. I mean, everyday items, it's trouble at Target. Walmart, they have them there. The stores look better for me for Walmart. It depends on where you're at. So, but Target I do like. Now let's take a look at FANG stocks before we get into some of the energy stuff and some of the scans, which I will get into. I wanted to look at FANG. And there's a lot of analyst predictions that FANG will not lead us for the next 5 years, that it's going to be something else that leads us. It's going to be financials. It's going to be healthcare. It's going to be energy for the next 5 years. But FANG will continue to flounder, trade in trading range, blah, blah, blah. So I figured we'd take a look at some of the charts of FANG and some of my personal opinions about the companies. Meta, it's way up 6% at 102 today. It gapped up, completely gapped up. You can see here, right here. Now, it won't show a gap because the gap will only happen when the candle is closed. Because if for some reason Meta winds up going back down to 97, you won't have a gap. But clearly, you're starting to cover this gap all the way up here to 128. We had a buy-in at 95. I'm not confident in that buy at 95, but I am confident that at some point in time, we close this gap to 129. It's just a company that's making too much money. They announced layoffs, and that's essentially why the stock is flying upwards, because he's finally admitting that he's got to reduce his costs. So what he's doing is he's reducing his costs in overhead of actual workforce. So as he reduces that, your costs come down. So let's look at Apple, since that's part of FANG. You guys know my large portion of my portfolio is Apple. You have no confirmation in Apple whatsoever right now. I do think that you're coming down to probably see this gap right here between 135 and, well, you've covered that one. There's another one earlier, and it was well earlier. Let's look at a daily because I believe it's way back when. Where it actually provides a gap. See right here, 123. There's kind of a pretty good support level. If I bring this back to here, where we went down to this level, see the volume level right here at 134. You're getting that volume shelf to provide you the bounces. The next volume shelf is 126, where you do have some pretty good support from times back in 21. Here's the gap that I'm talking about, 106 to 107. You have no gaps in this stock whatsoever, other than this one way back in August of 2020. If we are to come back and cover, you can see if I pull this volume shelf back here to where it was trading right before that gap. And this was when the 5-for-1 stock split was announced. Oh, come on. We're going to pull that back here. Is it going to pull it back? It's not going to pull it back. So let's go back. That is July 2020. So let's look. We'll look at a weekly and we'll pull the volume shelf back to July 2020. Because, let's see. Okay. July 2020. And we will look at some of the volume shelves here. Look at the volume shelf right there about 120. It's providing that volume shelf at 126. That would be where I would assume that this current downturn goes down to. At some point in time, it's going to wind up being okay, probably between 125 and 126. This gap down here, you're just too far down. That's COVID. That's an outlier. You're not worried about it. But that gap between 120 and I think that's where you find pretty good support from this volume shelf right here. So everything that I look at in Apple says that. Next one, Amazon. Amazon is one that they're hurting because, remember, Amazon Web Services is what drives this company. They were number one. They saw a slight downturn in the last one. Costs are getting out of control. Andy Jassy has to get costs under control for this one to move. Until that happens, I don't see it moving anywhere. You do have a MACD cross up and the RSI is down at 25. At some point in time this week, this is going to cross up, but it doesn't have confirmation above that 9-day. You've got this gap here between 104 and 108. I think very soon that gets covered. It's going to come up here to this 200-day and use the 200-day as resistance, which is at 120. My guess is that that 200-day comes down here to 115 to 111, and that's where you get a bump. It could be holiday time. It could be any time, but it's got nothing to say right now that you should buy this. Again, that's Amazon. Netflix, they just announced that they are looking into sports programming, bidding on some of the sports programming. They had a little bit of a bounce. You got out here with an 11% gain right around the earnings. There's a gap down here to about 243, which I think you'll actually cover on the way down. You can clearly see around earnings, this thing just pops on volume on earnings. I would see this volume shelf right here at about 241 being a pretty good volume shelf. So if you can get it between 240 and 250, I think you're okay there. That gap has to be filled down to 243. That would be my guess. So once we get off of Netflix, then we get to Google, GOOG, because GOOGL, they buy GOOG. That's the one that you want. It's performed 1% better than GOOGL year to date. This had a cross up at 88.94. You're at 89.08. Are you up today? Let's see, GOOGL. Yeah, you're up slightly, 0.11%. It's because of that. You're right around that 9-day. I'm telling you, once you get this support above that 9-day, you're good. You've got a gap here between 98 and 103. I think you move back up there. You don't have any catalyst to move it up, but I think this stock it's too cheap. We'll go over to Finviz and we look at the PE. It's 17. This is a growing company that is at a PE level of just a standard S&P stock. You guys use Google every day. You're watching me on YouTube right now. Guess who owns YouTube? Google. You guys probably use Gmail. Guess who owns Gmail? Google. You guys probably have searched in the last 7 days. Guess who owns that? Google. So I do think that there's opportunities in FANG. I just think you have to pick your spots, pick your entry points, and be smart about it. Apple, I buy and hold. I will probably do some tax loss harvesting later this year around around Apple, where I will sell some of my losses, but take some big long-term gains on Apple. I've never sold Apple. It is a psychological thing. I've never sold it. So now that we've done that, let's do BBW for Sam on Instagram. BBW is Build-A-Bear Workshop. BBW, I thought, was a term in the dating realm for some folks who are larger than life. Build-A-Bear, they're making money. Let's see. Christmas time, Build-A-Bear probably is a big thing. If you got kids, you've probably been to a Build-A-Bear. The most recent Doherty and Company moved it from buy to neutral. The price targets are between $13.50 and $12. Currently, you're trading at 17. I don't see any reason to get into this. Honestly, Sam, I think it's going to use that 200-day as probably, you do have a golden cross here where the 50-day is moving up, but it's moved up so much from 13. I mean, God, I wish I would have gotten into this one back in September. 13.28, and you moved up to 17. Why? I have no freaking idea. Build-A-Bear Workshop. Yeah. 3 years ago, if you would have put money into Build-A-Bear Workshop, you'd be up 430%. Motley Fool, October 26th. 3 explosive stocks for under $20. Read those. I can't tell you that this one's going back here, but look at that chart. You've covered your gaps. Well, let's see. Yeah. I think you've got 18 to 19, you have a gap. Here's the thing. You are 26% off your 52-week low of 23. You're 39% above your 52-week low. You're 26% off your 52-week high at 23. You're 39% above your 52-week low at about 12. Listen, since October of last year, for the last year, you've been in a trading range. This has been a great trading stock. The algorithm, if you bought and held this for 1,000 candles, you've made 322%. Again, like the Wall Street article said, if you bought this 3 years ago, you're up 430%. The algorithm makes you 59%. Your average win on this is 19.72%. You win almost 40% of the time. This is a great, great trading stock. If you can tell me that I'm going to make 20%, 40% of the time, and I can read the chart and understand, okay, I think this is a good one to get into, like that 1328 down there. Look at that RSI. It's in no man's land, but it just came off this 19 right there on the RSI, and you can clearly see, even if you bought in at this 14 and it dipped down to 13 and it got you out with that big loss, I probably would have stayed in just thinking it's got to go up. But have your stop losses clear, 5%, buy in on the algorithm, get my algorithm, sign up for TrendSpider. VVV for D-Man, and then we'll go into the scans that I did. And some of the energy stocks. We're already at 48 minutes on the algorithm on the podcast. So VVV Valvoline, this is a great one. I think the learnings from D-Man are great. He wrote to me, and it's a comment on the YouTube video from yesterday. He's killed it, and he's gotten out. Now, I don't know that I'd necessarily get out of this one. Their earnings are coming up on November 14th. You have a catalyst. It's clearly above that 9-day. I don't know that I would have gotten out, but like I always say, if you've got profits, take the profits. Don't be ashamed if it continues to go up and you've already sold out, because you know what? You made money. Be happy about that. If I pull this back to its recent highs right here, this volume chart, you can clearly see it's building this volume chart up here. If I were to hold it through earnings, I would have a stop at 29. If for some reason they announce something that's going to cause earnings to crater, I would have stopped here at 29. Because if you bought in at 25, you don't want to give it up all the way back to this gap. It's been filled. This gap up here, up to 31.93, you only got 93 cents. No reason to buy into that one. Sell out. It's a good sellout. I think that's a great trade. Great trade on that one. Scans. Went over GOOG already. GOOG is the one. It's got a cross up on GOOGL as well. I own GOOGL for some reason. Why I do, I don't know. 88.94 is the buy-in. I like the chart. I like it to fill these gaps up here between 98 and 102. This is one that I think you get into on a cross up, and I think you buy and hold. Look at that MACD. Look at how it's crossing up, and the RSI is only at 40. Now, are you going back up? I don't know. But with that PE value way down there, I like this one. Deere crossed up. This is one that it's a double cross up. You had a cross up here at 341. You're at 402. I like this one because their earnings are coming up. Could you see a bigger move up in this one? If we pull this one back and we go back to its highs, which was back in April, they were up at 440. That's a 10% move. There's a gap up here between 426 and 430. You're trading at 400 right now. It's clearly overbought with the RSI at 62. So I would probably wait to buy this one between, I would say use this volume shelf. Let's pull it back to its highs so that I can clearly see this volume shelf here. I think it's, right here between 3, and I hate to give this big of a range, but I would say 380 to 390 is a fantastic price if it pulls back there. 390 to 400 is a good price. So But Deere, clearly a good mover. And here, let's look at the PE on Deere, because the PE on Deere should be pretty good. Yeah, 20. This is a company that's growing, self-driving tractors. They're a software company. They're industrials, heavy farm and equipment. With a supply shortage of grain, you're going to see this company just kill it. They're only 10% off their 52-week high of 446, but I think you go back to there with the earnings. Look, August 11th, upgrade, inline, outperform. Look at the price targets, 450, 440, 425, 455. Those are all from earlier this year, but still, I can't imagine. Look at it all the way. Initiated coverage, 425. That was April 13th of 2021. So I think Deere's a good one to get into, and that's why I put it in my list. PayPal. This is down today, and so this might be a pretty good one to get into. 81.13 is the buy. You're trading at 79.12. PayPal has just gaps all over the place. You've got this gap down here between 74 and 75. You got this gap down here, which has been filled. Let me see. Did this trigger? The low was 72. So you've got all these gaps filled, and you got the 81.13. Now it's going to use that 200-day as a resistance level. Clearly, it's going to use that, and that's 86. So you're close to 10% on that one. But PayPal, in my mind, the only thing that's against it is its multiple, the PE. It's 46. So you've got some danger, Will Robinson. But I think it's gone down enough that I think you could look at this one at 81 and still be pretty good at it. Final scan, Intel Corporation. Now, I hate Intel. I think the company is run poorly. I think they just don't do things right. It's a double cross up, and you've got a gap down here. But I wanted to bring this up because the chip sector has been doing killer. And I went over SOXL earlier. But here, October 13th at 26.33, you're at 28. You've already had earnings. You're past their dividend X date. You've got volume shelves here. You've got gaps up. You're starting to move up, and you've got confirmation. The gap up is at 30. You're at 28. I think you could look to the 200-day as providing a resistance level. Look at how it's provided resistance in the past. It just doesn't get above that 200-day. But if you're moving from 27, 26, somewhere around that neighborhood to 32, you've got your 10%. I like that one for a trade. I don't like Intel to buy and hold. I like it for a trade. The one that I like for a buy and hold is Qualcomm. It doesn't have you back in. That MACD is crossing up right now. And it's only because the chips have been running. Qualcomm's ex-dividend date is November 30th. So that's the next catalyst. It's quite a bit away. But when we look at Intel, their PE is 8.79, and this is a badly run company. Their dividend yield is 5.13. Qualcomm, which has Snapdragon, which has self-driving, which has everything going for it, PE is just slightly above at 9, and its dividend is 2.67. So you've got a company in Qualcomm that's actually run well, doing well. You've got a company in Intel that's not doing well, paying a little bit more with a less PE, fewer PE. I just think Qualcomm would be your pick. Chesapeake Energy. James wants me to check Chesapeake Energy. I'll do that one. I'll keep it about an hour. Chesapeake Energy was one that I went over before that had a pretty good cross up. At $98, you're at 101. It went all the way up to 107. So you did get your 10% out of this one slowly. I mean, it was literally just a few days later. You still do have some confirmation. The ex-dividend date is November 14th. I wouldn't expect that to be an enormous catalyst for this company in particular. But you can see, look at the last ex-dividend date. It paid its dividend, kind of gapped down. Then you had this run-up from 88 to 103. So my fear is that this gap down here between 83 and 80, 85. I don't think it's touching it anytime soon. You can clearly see it's an upward trending stock, and it's using the 200-day as its support. So you still have confirmation here. It's slightly below its 9-day, but you're kind of capitulating. You had this. It hasn't gotten you out of the $98 yet. You had this button hook. Then it kind of came back all the way to 104 yesterday, and it's kind of just floundering around 100. It's kind of down. I don't know that, necessarily would say get out of it, but I don't know that I'd necessarily get into it either. But if you want to look at that one as a long-term, have at it. UNLYF. Unilever. This is a wacky one. 7. I ain't going over this one. That's a wacky one. I'm going to end the podcast. I'll go over your wacky stuff on YouTube. Again, thank you to everybody that writes to me. Thank you for everyone that supports. I will look at anything that you want to. Write to me on any of the socials. Let's look at Oxy. Oxy's down 3%. Devon's down 3%. Energy's down. It's getting that button hook. I'm holding on to Devon. It's below 70. Holding on to Devon. I might get out of this one because it's got this gap down here, 62 to 61. But it got you out. The algorithm got you out with 11%. I might get out. I'm in at 53, I think. So I've got quite a profit on this one. But energy's kind of tanking. Let's see. The markets, as I sign off here, down about 1% across the board. If you have any questions, hit me up on the socials. I will be back on tomorrow. Thank you for everyone. So, okay, export song to disk. I'll be right back. I'll be back on and look at stuff for you guys. Write to me in the comments what you want me to look at. Hopefully I covered everything. Yeah. Give me a second. Oh, my body. I'm back. Do you want to use your audio device? Oh, I guess I can use the... That's interesting. Don't use. UNLF. I don't even know what that is, Evan. You screwed me up. Let me post this. Let's go back to Active Trader Pro. 9 watching. Okay, anybody want me to go over anything? We'll go into Active Trader Pro. Let's look at, I'm going to try and get this one back. For some reason, Active Trader Pro. This stuff messes up. There we go. Markets. Let's look at Boyle. Boyle's kind of flat. Doesn't have any real confirmation. Let me look at we're gonna go into Stefan, again, kudos for you helping your friend. I like that. Which brokerage did you open it up in, by the way? Please tell me Fidelity. New episode. Create. I really am happy when I get those messages from you guys that you're learning. And you got to set your own process. I have my own process and I share it with you guys, but it's really about what you feel comfortable with, what you want to do. Oh, God, I hate this. Why does this do this? I'm going to restart Active Trader Pro. Quit, and then we'll restart it. Bum, 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 bum. I should empty trash. I need to look at... Oh, hello, trash can. God, I came in here thinking I was going to do like a 20-minute podcast. And then all of a sudden I get tons of stuff to talk about. That was like yesterday. Rick and I recorded the Election Insider with Rick Barron podcast. And all of a sudden, he had me tell my story about the plane crash, about going into the owner's booth with the Philadelphia Union owner. And we were 22 minutes in. E-Trade, Zephin. You're killing me. I think it's owned by JP Morgan now. I hate E-Trade. I had E-Trade for a while. Man, what is going on with Fidelity Active Trader Pro that it's not opening up these damn... There we go. Now it's opening it up. TQQQ 1861. Wait till it hits that 17 handle. Oh, by the way, SOXL has made its complete turnaround. As long as you didn't open up in Robinhood. Let me check. I'm probably losing a shit ton of money, by the way, today. Fuck again. Yeah, so here's the SOXL. It got you out with 20%, got you back in at 927, and it's pushing its way to that 9-day. Here, I should show you this. Webull, I've heard good things about, Jesse. You know what's funny? I think you can open up a paper trading account in Webull. And I think a lot of the folks on FinTwit open up a Webull paper trading account And then they showed like these 1,000% increases and stuff like that. I think that's what a lot of people use Webull for. UNLYF. Yeah, but hold on. UNLYF. I don't think this is... Yeah, it's the British stock. Let me see. UNLYF. So here's the thing, Zephin. It's only trading 1,000 shares a day. UNLYF is only trading, its 10-day volume is 1,927. Its 90-day volume is 1,818. You're never going to get in and out of that one with any kind of, its lot sizes are like 1,300 shares. It's just trading weird. And again, this is on Fidelity, so maybe it's just weird. Let me see. Yeah, Unilever is UL. See? UL trades more like it. So I hated E-Trade because there's certain restrictions on E-Trade. And one of the restrictions I had, and this was way back when, Zephin, was I couldn't trade fractional shares. So my guess is that today you can trade fractional shares, meaning like if I wanted to buy Salesforce, I had to pay $145.31 to buy a share of Salesforce. I couldn't buy, half a share at $75. It wouldn't let me. And so I had a problem with that. The second problem I have, and it still goes on today, I have no money with E-Trade, but E-Trade continually sends me an email with my bank statements at zero. I've emailed them several times and said, hey, I don't have any money with you. And they're like, yeah, you do. And I'm like, no, I don't. There's no money in that account. It's zero. You send me a zero statement every time. And then they send me a tax form every time with a zero statement. So I have to include that tax form in my taxes just because I don't want the IRS coming back and saying you didn't include this tax form. It'll raise a red flag for an audit. So continually, I constantly have to just battle them. Every year I have to battle them, and it never gets better. It never gets resolved. And so from that standpoint alone, F you, E-Trade, I should say. But UL is Unilever, I think. Let me see what UNL. What is it? UNLYF. What is this? Yeah. UNLYF. I think that's what you type. UNLYF. Yeah, I think this is the one that trades actually off the British pound, if I'm not mistaken. Stock News begins coverage of Unilever. What stock is UNLYF? OnlyFans. There we go. This might tell me what it is. It doesn't. Yeah, Webull has good promotions. I've heard that, Jesse. Zephan, I think you want to trade the UL, which is Unilever. See this? Trades 2 million shares a day. If I go back to the other one, you're trading 1,000 shares a day. So my guess is that's like a foreign listing. You might even get fees for trading that foreign listing. I know I've traded a couple of Swiss stocks when it was Swiss stocks when COVID was going on, and there was all the news about vaccines. And so I traded a bunch there, and I got I think I traded like $5,000 of this one stock. No, I'm sorry. It was $1,000 of this one stock that was developing a vaccine, and it was a $50 fee. And then I was like, fuck, $50. Let's see. What's 50 divided by 1,000?
The answer is 0.05.
Yeah. That's 5%. A 5% fee for trading a foreign stock. So I had to make 5% on the freaking stock in order to just get the fee. But that was just on the buy side. Then to sell it, I had a $50 fee. So I had to make 10% just to get out of the fees. So be careful when you're trading something that's a little foreign. Save episode. I'm going to go over this now. And we're going to put this in. So many. Disney and others reported weak earnings. Should you buy these stocks now? Is Disney a buy after earnings? See? You're under 90 on Disney now. Told you. It's continuing to slide. It's down 10%. I think you're going down to that 85 range. I think that's what the buy Google now. Market update 11/9/22. Bum bum bum. Blah, blah, blah. Who else wants me to look at something? Yeah, Unilever's a good one long term. Look at FinViz. Once I'm done typing this, I'll look at FinViz for you. But let me add all these dollar signs in here so I can. It's easier for me to do this here than it is in Twitter. BBW, Build-A-Bear Workshop. That's an interesting one. Disney VVV Valvoline. I'm gonna take out. Let's see. What is it? Fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the brave. Thank you to everyone who writes me notes and says, and thank you to supporters. Bringing world. Okay, Disney, Roblox. I like Valvoline. D-Man, great job on Valvoline. Avaya. I already did that. Oh, you know what? We're going to take out, we're just going to put in DIS. Boy, this is going to be Upstart, Oxy, Mara, Affirm, Rivian. I had Beyond in there. I didn't want to do Beyond. Let's see. We're going to put in Meta, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, GOG. Okay, and energy, we're going to put in all of these. Energy's getting killed today. It's got that button hook. It's going to get you out. Scans, GOGL, GOG, or PayPal, Intel, Qualcomm. Oh, and I've got to include GS. I'm going to put that in here. GS. Bought under $300, now over $360. Great trade. Okay, let me just we're gonna go down there, we're gonna buy these, copy. Okay, and publish now. Bum bum bum. We're gonna go to Twitter. We're gonna type in It's funny, on days like this, Tom will typically send me a bunch of messages. I told you to buy this, I told you to buy this, told you to buy this. Okay. Build-A-Bear Workshop. That's an interesting one. I think that's funny that Sam brought that. I think it was Sam that brought that one up. VVV. Vroom. TDD. We're going to put in a bunch of the other ones like Spy. TQQQ. I still think you guys, TQQQ under 20. I think you're looking at some time at some point in time. I'm going to get rid of this space. And we'll just X. Tweet that. And then Twitter. And we'll tweet this. Boom, boom, boom. I gotta make sure I'm on my actual Beyond. I should get rid of all of these. We're going to move this over here. SOXL. Okay, I just need 2, so I'll delete that. Delete that. We will tweet that. Then I'm going to do another one. Twitter. We're going to put in Spy, BBD, NRPO, Neo, MRS, QQQ, GFI, AUY, Tilray, ITUB. Let's put in GME, AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, NVIDIA, LabU, Lyft, Plug, Snap, CCL, and I see. Top percentage gainers. That's where we're gonna go. Mac. NRBO. I think I already have that one. Yeah, I do have that one. NRBO, OM, Kala. NVTO. I'm getting close. TA. Ramp. I think that's good. Tweet. Okay. So it's funny. If you look at my Twitter profile, here, I'm going to go. Yeah. By the way, my podcast audience, D-Man, you're live. I thought you always watched me on replay. My audience, by the way, me taking the week off last week, I lost about 1,000 listeners. So, interesting though. Hey, I got 200 subscribers now on here. I'm gonna change some of the tag words that I use, but let's go back to. You know what I want to look at again? Why did I have UL up there? Let's look at Boyle, and then I'll look at XPO. XPO Logistics. I don't want to look at top gainers, most actives. Boyle at 30. See, okay, here. Take a look. So hopefully on charts. By the way, Zephin, does E-Trade have a chart system like Active Trader Pro? Let me know in the comments. But see this. Okay, this green line right here. That's the 9-day. The yellow line is, and I use EMAs because enhanced moving averages move quicker than simple moving averages. They kind of go in line, and it's pretty much the same, but for day trading, I use EMAs. Look at the RSI down here. You're at 33, 32. The MACD is not necessarily crossing up, but also see how it's down below the 9 and the 21, and it's on the bottom edge of the Bollinger Bands. If we go to KOLD and we look at that, okay, good deal. Well, welcome, D-Man. Wait, I thought TD Ameritrade had Thinkorswim. Not E-Trade. Maybe E-Trade has the same damn thing. But here, so look at KOLD. It's trading above there. If you guys are day trading, this is why I love these ETFs. Because if you're day trading, you can take a look at these and see exactly where you're going. Now, here's the killer. So the markets are down by 1%. Look at you, VIXI. It's not skyrocketing. It's only up by 1%. Now, it's got all kinds of confirmation right now that it's going for a run, 991. But it's not spiking. The VIX just isn't going up. The VIX is at 25. Thinkorswim is awesome, by the way. I think it might be better than Active Trader Pro. And the reason I say that specifically as a Mac user is they have their own Mac based program. So it's not built on a Windows platform, I don't believe. I used it a couple of times before I made the move to Fidelity because I specifically wanted a trading platform. And tomorrow is what? Thursday. Title. Thursday. Okay, which one do you want? I want to look at XPO. XPO Logistics. XPO Aladocious. XPO was moving. Let's look at the 2-day. Pretty good move from 34 to 35 from the close. Doesn't have look at how fast it fell though. D-man, take a look at this one if you're day trading. It just lost everything. Literally up here at 36. Once it hit 36, that MACD crossed down and it just crashed. And right now your RSI is at 40. Yeah. Thinkorswim is good. Shit, open up your account and freaking okay, Zephin, here's some guidance for you. And it's a pain in the ass. But TD Ameritrade has offices. I think you live out in Orange County. I guarantee you they have an office. You walk in there and you say, I want to open up a TD Ameritrade account. I have an E-Trade account. Can you help me? They will help you, guide you over to transfer everything from E-Trade over to TD Ameritrade. You basically get so much more with a TD Ameritrade account. But the biggest thing that you do is you use Thinkorswim, and you can set up hotkeys. So, for instance, you get on a 1-minute charter in Thinkorswim. I'm on E-Trade right now. I have hotkeys. So if I see this one where it's just touching above the 9, and then I got a big candle. Ooh, I want to buy it at 35.82. I have a hotkey to buy it at 13.82, where it just does it for me. With a pre-set up order, I can press the return key twice, and it buys it. Then I see it go up here to 36.10. Sell it. I have a hotkey. I don't have to put in the sell order. It is crazy addictive. It is crazy, awesome. It is crazy how much money you wind up losing. But it's definitely a fun one. You're in XPO 3208. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Let's look at the 5 down XPO. Yeah. 32. You're in a positive moving trend. You're using that 200-day as support. So if you're day trading this D-man, let me look at FinViz real quick. Let me trade you over here. Let's go and look at XPO. It's a shipping company. I know that. Yeah, the PE is 4. They're 25% below their 52-week high of 48. They're down 20. They're riding the S&P. They're up 45%. This is a great company. Here, initiated coverage, $70 is the price target. Deutsche Bank downed it from 78 to 50 on October 17th. You're still at 36. July, Morgan Stanley overweight, $75. Jefferies just initiated coverage with $70 price target. I think you've got, let's see, let's go and look at XPO. Yeah, that's what I did when I went to, why pull up? God, I'm typing like a moron. That's why. XPO. There we go. I was going to say, boy, XPO looks ugly. Haha. Look at the algorithm. Look at the algorithm on this one. You know what, D-Man? You're getting a shout out. XPO. Shout out to D-Man on a run. Look at this. XPO algorithm loses you 47%. You're dead even with buying and holding. 35 positions. Average win is only 7.92, but this is an epic one. It covered that. Oh, look at that. Only a 4% move from 27. And it got you out with a 4% gain, but you could have gotten out here, and then you get back in here. It's a good company. I know it particularly because I did a lot of shipping, investing in shipping. I think it was last year. Tom would know. He got me into Zim and other ones because you can Zim integrated shipping. This is one. They had a crazy hero. Let me take you back to show you the. So see this gap right here. That was an 11. You went from 85 down to 79. $7 per share dividend paid out on that day. See? It was announced here. And it didn't shoot up. They announced a $7 per share dividend at $70. It rode up to about, what, almost 100? About 90. Then it gapped down. And you've been on a ski slope ever since. So, yeah. But you got earnings on Zim coming up. I think XPO has the same thing. Zim had a buy-in at $24.45, and it's just floundered. Here, XPO PE of 4.6. The problem is that all these shippers, they overcharge for their shipping. Yeah, this is just basically trading on cash flow. But look at that dividend, 110%. Here, let's see. Zim dividend history. Bum 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 bum. Look. Cash amount $17 per share. $2.85 per share. $4.75 per share for a $20 stock. A $20 stock is paying you $5 a share. And it's not losing $5 a share. See the gaps down? Those are all dividend payments. But see, before the dividend, well, it's not all dividend payments. This was a big dividend payment. And then shipping kind of lost its mojo. Your earnings are coming up, but they don't have a dividend announcement. Maybe they pay out again. I like XPO, though. That's a great one. Oh, why am I doing this again? Just can't type. Let's see it on Active Trader Pro. Has it lost its mojo? We're gonna go to a today and a 1 minute chart. It's lost its mojo. I think it's gonna come down here to this 200 day at 35.35. But trust me, D-man, I'm gonna fuck you up if I continue to look at this. I'll be, take your profits like a boomer. Here's the good news. 3 million shares in 10-day volume, 2.43 million in 90-day volume. So you've got a short-term pop based on volume here. I'm telling you, it's a great, 52-week high of 48. I like it. Good call. You know what's coming close is TQQQ. Remember I said on the podcast, if you can get TQQQ with a 17 handle, I like it. Problem is the markets are just continuing to move down. So take a look at SPI, the S&P. Oh, come on. There we go. It's got no confirmation that it's going to go up. Nothing. You're going to continue to slide here. So that's the S&P. Meta, on the other hand, crazy move today. Up 6% just based on layoff announcements. So this has been a good trade for 5 days. See? Been a great trade. Me, unfortunately, I buy and hold this one, fucker, at $311 per share. Ugh. Let's go back here And I'm going to look at, I think DRN was the trade. $8.09, you're at $9.62, and you still have confirmation. This is the real estate bull. Huh. Let me take a look at some of my holdings. Apple is down at 137, so you still got some downside there. We went over that one. Abbott Labs. Remember I said buy it under 100? Yeah. It's at 163. American Eagle Outfitters was up yesterday. Big cross up at $10.26. You've made 10% there. AMD, big down day. It's down 5%. You're still in this trade at 62. No, 58. Sorry, 58. It's back there. I can't read it, but it's at 58, I believe. Amazon. I think Amazon, you've got a trade coming, but see, it's got no confirmation. You're down 2% today. ARC-F, you're down 4%. This has gotten you out. You shouldn't be in this one like I am. ARC-G, shouldn't be in this one. Got you out with a 0.61%. ARC-K, shouldn't be in this one. It's down 4%. Guarantee you're out of this one. Yep, out of that one with a loss. ARC-W. Out of this one. I'm still in it. BABA, out of this one. I'm still in it. Oh, God. Let me see. My net worth has to be just trashed today. Yeah. My net worth is trashed. Look. I mean, you're just in all of this was just a bear market bounce. And this is a bear market bounce. You pull them back a little bit. Here. Remember I said 3,200? At some point in time, you get back to 3,200. By the way, the big thing today is God. Binance and FTX. Fortune favors the brave. F you, Matt Damon. F you, Matt Damon. Let's go back to daily. Remember I said there was some support for a 3,200 S&P? On SPY, that would be 320. And you go back to July 2020. See? 313 to 318. There's some support there. I mean, make no mistake about it. Let's go back July 2020. We'll pull the volume shelf back to July of 2020. Let's pull it back a little bit further. We'll pull back to the pandemic lows. So where are people holding SPY? You've got a support here at 3,400, and you've got this gap here between 326 and 332. Again, this is SPY, so it trades right along about 10 times below what the S&P trades at. So at 343, you see how you bounced off there? And now you're just kind of capitulating, and you're in this little range. This is a weekly, so you don't see the huge moves like your portfolio does in the downs and ups. But look at how low that fucking MACD is. So the question is, are we going to get a MACD cross up on the weekly here? And boom, it's going to, just take off. I think you can clearly see the last time we touched this was the last time that the Fed started raising rates. And then they basically started here in October. Oh, we're going to raise rates because you know what? The economy's strong. Janet Yellen said that. And boom, what did you have? You just had a slide. And then in December, they said, you know what? We're going to pause. Boom. So if we go into December here, it's now November 9th. If we go into December and we touch this 200-day at 363 again, I think you see a 0.5 point hike in December, and I think we take off. And I don't mean that we get back here to almost 500. I don't think you get back there. I can't imagine you get back there now. But I think between now and this time next year, you're in this range of between, I'd say 340. I don't know that we're going back down to this 320 level, but I think 340 to probably 4,000. Workday. D-Man, you know your stuff. Let's look at Workday. Workday's an HR, I believe it's an HR software program that companies use. You guys see it if you watch the PGA Tour. They're a huge sponsor. I think Phil Mickelson they're a sponsor of. Wow, Devon is down 3% under 70. Workday's about to have that MACD's kind of still trending down. Their earnings are coming up, so it could be a catalyst. You do have gaps up here. You're trading right around that 9-day. So you're not too far below it. See how you went down outside the Bollinger Bands? Probably would have bought here at 129. I think you'll get back there, though, to be honest. Everything seems to be trending down that way. But you do, if you do get above that and you wind up closing above that 9-day D-man. Oh, there's a dog outside. Oh, there's the owners. The owners are walking with the dogs off the leash. They're so cute. But you do have some gaps up here around 157 and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Workday's good. And let's look at there it is. They're a great company. See, they're not making money. This is software as a service. I mean, it's basically, I think it's a SaaS company. Provides enterprise cloud applications in the United States and company application to help its customer to plan, execute, analyze, and extend to other applications and environments. Manage their business and operations. It offers a suite of financial management applications which enable chief financial officers to maintain accounting information in general ledger, manage financial processes, identify real-time financial operation. Yeah, it's based on CFOs. I knew it was something like that. And look, human capital management solution, a suite of human capital management. That just means HR stuff. So it's an interesting one. I think a competitor is Insperity. And so Insperity, you can see their PE is 31. Insperity is a little bit different. I don't think they're software based, but they more provide the business solutions to improve business performance. They provide a full suite. Earthlink used them, and they were douches to me. But look at the insider trading. All sales. There's your, although I will tell you, it's only down 2% year to date. 1.81% dividend. Let's see. Let's look at Workday. Wow, Sam Bankman-Fried's no longer a billionaire. Kid doesn't care though. Workday 170 price target, November 2nd. Let's see what the insiders are doing. Sale, option exercise. Nobody's buying. Careful, D-man. I had to, you know what's funny, Jesse? I had to allow that comment. Gush is the oil ETF. I think this is more equipment than it is anything. And Brandon has his own. So, yeah, today Gush is getting killed. Just like every other oil. See, it's below the 9-day. I would worry more with Gush about this gap between 130 and 137. Although, see, here's the problem. See this gap right here? I mean, you've got gaps all over the place in Gush. The upper one hasn't been filled at 217, but I think you're moving back towards the 200-day at 154 than you are moving up. Energy's just had such a run. Gush has been crazy. I'm about to get off here, by the way. I got to go get my steps in, rake some leaves, wash the car, do some laundry, get my day going. This has been good, though. God, how long have I've been on here for 2 hours. Okay, I'm going to change some of the tags on this stuff, too, so other people can discover it, because I leave the tags alone. So it's the same 10 to 12 people that kind of come on here. But, and here's the other thing, Brittany bitch, about Gush. Look at the downward trending volume. Remember, it's an ETF, so if we bring this volume shelf back to its highs back here in June, I'm going to show you. You're setting new volume shelves support up here. Your real support's at 174. I don't know that I'd really look at that one. Let's look at VOC. What is VOC? I don't even know. If I had to guess. Active Trader Pro is frozen again. F you, Active Trader Pro. I think it just doesn't work well when OBS and stuff like that is open. I think it loses its resources. Let's see, VOC. I'm going to go in here. Energy Trust. That's what I thought it would be. Yeah. Let's see. Force quit. Active Trader Pro. I may have to buy a new laptop. And I saw there's a great sale on the top of the line MacBook Pro with, I think, either the M1 or M2 chip. 16 gigs of RAM, which isn't a lot. I'd like it to have 32. But the stock one is on sale on Amazon for $500 off, from $2,000 down to $1,500. It's got 1 terabyte of storage, so it's got plenty of storage on the hard drive, so I don't have to use SSDs, which is typically what I do when I'm traveling. I should probably show you guys this one. Here, let's see. I'll show you guys. I like this one. Okay. Here. Those are my 4 hard drives. My 4 Western Digital hard drives. 2 are backups, 2 are actual. They're 8 terabytes each. And here you have coupons. The millionaire shops with coupons on Burger King. But yeah, those are my 4 hard drives. They are not SSDs. I think they have red drives in them. I bought them 8 terabyte drives. I think they cost me about $100 a piece, somewhere in that neighborhood, $70 to $100 depending on the sale. But they have red drives inside of them. This one in particular, it's a different one. These are all Easy Store versions, but this one in particular, it's still a Western hard drive. It's loud. And that's the one where if you hear my desk kind of making noise, that's where I have a ton of it. I should do this. See? There's the 4. I made it larger so you can see it and you didn't have to look at the thing. But essentially that's it. And yeah, Burger King coupons. Hey, where are you at? Let's see. You probably won't be able to hear me, but there's one. And there's the other one. Hopefully you guys could still see that. I think it's it's good, but we'll go back here. We'll go to video capture and cancel. And we'll go back to FaceTime. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, Jesse, I looked at external SSDs. Brittany bitch. My friends say I have a big house. I do live in a... Listen, Brandon, I am blessed beyond belief. I live in a significantly larger house than I need for my two dogs. Significantly larger than I need for my two dogs. Personally, in my mind, my house in Florida was perfect. I think it was about 2,000 square feet. It was 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and the entire middle section of the house was the kitchen, a dining room, which I used more as kind of an office / playroom, but it didn't have walls, and a family room. And there were no walls in the middle of the house, and it had floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked a golf course. I lived on a par 3, which had water, and it had the railroad ties on it. Fantastic, unbelievably, probably the greatest house I lived in. And it was unbelievable. I have a nice house. I'll give you a... if you go on... I have a YouTube video, a tour of the house, if you ever want to look at it. I won't post it, but you guys can go find it if you want. I posted it because there were too many. I had my house on Zillow as offer to buy, like owner sell, and I didn't want real estate agents going in, so I'd text them back a view of the. I took my drone, which was the best camera I had at the time, and I just walked around with the drone because it's a stabilized camera, and I showed you the house. And I remember a bunch of my friends who live in California and live away from me. They're like, oh my God, that house is gorgeous. Gorgeous, Gary. It's gorgeous. Disney at 88. My friend texted me. Bought Disney and Apple. Disney and Apple. Hey, I got a new subscriber. GS Eric, Coach Eric. By the way, if you bought Goldman Sachs, kudos to you, Coach Eric. Thanks. Thank you, Brittany, bitch. I appreciate it. It is a nice house. But it is significantly larger. I'd say 3/4 of this house, I don't step foot in, but once a year. Nobody uses I'm pretty much a loner. I don't necessarily like people kind of staying at my house, so I don't entertain here. I have a big screen TV with surround sound that I love. I have a couch that's super comfy. And I just, kind of exist. Disney's got no confirmation today whatsoever on a 1 minute, and 5 minutes probably even worse. Yeah. There's no reason to buy Disney right now other than the fact that it's down at pretty low. No. I think, and you guys know when I travel, maybe you guys have been listening enough. When I travel, I think this year I spent, 5 months on the road. Last year was even worse. But I won't have Airbnb. And if it's a short trip, like last week I went to LA, my dog sitter's here. And she loves the house. She uses more of the house than I do, I think. So DraftKings is down 6%. Wow. Everything's getting killed. NASDAQ is down 1.34. Everything in my portfolio, I should say, is getting killed. But I had friends enter Disney and Apple today. And Apple is 136. Again, it's got no support level whatsoever. I don't know that I'd necessarily buy into it. But I was going to actually, Brandon, now that you mentioned it, it's funny because when the All-Star game, I lived kind of close to Truist Park, which is where the Braves play. And they were going to host the All-Star game. And so I almost Airbnb'd then. I also almost Airbnb'd when Atlanta hosted the Super Bowl. I think for the Atlanta Super Bowl, I could have gotten about $10,000 for my house for the week, which would have been fantastic. But you don't know who's going to get it. Is it going to be the party crowd who invites everybody over and all of a sudden your house is trashed? Or is it going to be the corporate house where a CEO kind of, or his family rent it for a week and they treat it nicely, like their own place? You just don't know. And so I've always kind of said, as long as I don't need the money, I'm not necessarily going to chance it. But it is a nice house. Trust me, it fits me. The only reason I'm still in this house is because I'm so comfortable in the house. I'm walking distance to a vegan place. I've got a pizza place down the road. I've got really nice 4 and 5 star restaurants right down the road, all within a mile. I've got bars if I want to walk to, but I'm on a dead end on a cul-de-sac. It's nice. Trust me, it's nice. I live in a nice place. Sorry. VOC. Let's look at VOC. Ooh, VOC is moving. But see, it's one of these micro caps. Here. Yeah, we're on Active Trader Pro. It's a micro cap, so it's only got 269,000 shares trading. Last lot size was 1,000. People are trading 1 and 3 shares. God, it's got a 14% dividend yield. Karaoke night. Brittany Britch brings up karaoke. I loved it. I had to approve Jesse's comment. Yeah. Okay. It's 11 o'clock. I am going to go. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you guys for listening. I posted the podcast. Give a thumbs up if you're still watching, and share it. I do like the fact, and thank you to the person. I won't name their name, but thank you to the person. They might be listening, but probably not. To the person who wrote me last night and said how much they learned. Everybody that I mentor, I kind of do a check-in every month. And I say, are you still learning? Look back at what you knew prior to the mentorship and after the mentorship. And, have you come a long enough way so that you feel comfortable in putting money into a stock and understanding that whatever you've identified as the downside and the upside, you understand how to trade, where to trade, what stock you're getting into, what the value of what you're buying, things of that sort. So I'm super, super happy when I get those messages. And I know you don't have to write to me every day and thank me, but I know the regulars are pretty thankful. But when I get new ones, it's always heartwarming. So thank you guys. And I'm going to shower, get my day started. See you guys.